Curse of the Undead on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber from 1959. Unrated Western vampire movie. Alright, so the reason I'm watching this movie is because of one of my subscribers. This one, Good Owner, has been so awesome in commenting on a ton of my videos, and he recommended this movie and kind of described it a little bit, and I really wanted to see it. So I am watching this because of you, and I'm doing this review for you and for anyone else who's interested. All right, and speaking of 1959, one of my all-time favorite books ever is from 1959, Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein. I love this book. I think this is my absolute favorite book. Yep, there it is. 1959, right there. Highly recommend it if you haven't read it. All right, so I don't know if this is it. This is literally the first shot of the movie right there. I don't know if that's it, but to me it looks like the part in Universal Studios where the flood comes down. I think that part's kind of close by the like Western and horror village. Anyway, that looks like the part where the flood comes down. I don't know if it is, but it's definitely on that street and in that area where they've filmed tons of horror and Western movies. Look at this baby. I love the dramatic music and title of these old movies. This movie has this weird, like, kind of music. So yeah, the screechy electric violin there is kind of irritating, but it has like the feel of like, I feel like a flying saucer is going to come down on a string or something, just with the way that sounds. All right, so Kino Lorber did a new 2K remaster of this thing. 2K is about the resolution of a Blu-ray. And for the most part, it looks really good. It looks very clean. There's some grain. You can see where I've paused it, and you can see kind of the grain in the sky. It's definitely not like flawless, which is fine. It actually kind of has an old film charm to it. But on this scene where it's lighter, you can see quite a few scratches and specks. And I want to see if they show up on my phone. Hang on. Okay, look like right around here-ish. There's not any big dark film scratches, but there's some of the lighter ones. Let's look at them. See if you see them. Yeah, there you go. See all those specks and spots and dings and stuff? So no... There's not like any real crazy big long ones. They're just like little like short-term ones. Like I know when I was a projectionist, when we would be threading the film through a projector, that if you did it like too tight or if the angle was off or something, then it would get a big black or green scratch right in the middle of it. So there was a couple black scratches, but they were pretty fine throughout. So the restoration, like if you're looking to upgrade, I would say it's a really good picture. And the black levels were really, really good for a Blu-ray. And this movie has some awesome cinematography dealing with kind of the light and dark. So for the soundtrack, it was just a DTS HD Master Audio 2.0, and it sounded fine. I think it was cleaned up sufficiently. But right here is one of my very favorite parts about this show. Every time it shows a vampire bite, it does some form of this. It's like, it's perfect. So real quick, when the movie starts, we've got that old guy who's the dad and that blonde girl who's his daughter. He's the dad's the doctor, and the daughter is the daughter. Anyway, this is Preacher Dan here. Boop. And he's apparently in a relationship with the blonde daughter. This is some dead broad. But when the movie starts, there's already kind of a epidemic going on of apparently neck bite-itis. So then there's her brother. So this is the girl. Then there's her brother, and he's just super annoying and borderline narratively pointless.
Then after they had their fun, Buffer tried to kill me.
So the whole time I was watching it with this guy, especially when he does really stupid and rash choices, it just kept making me think of the Johnny Cash song where it's the lady keeps saying, "Don't bring your guns to town," to her son. There you go. Here's a good look at the sister / love interest of the tall Liam Neeson looking preacher guy.
Sneaked up on the dam, and
that's all.
Too bad about her unfortunate face. We're about to get our first sighting of the vampire cowboy. However, from the music, you'd think it's like Alien Cowboy. Listen to this stuff. You might want to plug your ears. Trigger warning. Pretty intense. Right there. Ah! Here's this guy named Buffer, which is apparently a wealthy landowner who just hangs out in this crappy saloon all the time. But I think he kind of has a little bit of Jeremy Renner look to him. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe if Jeremy Renner was thicker and drank more and older, maybe? And here's the sheriff. I really like this guy. So he's trying to help out with the land troubles between the doctor and the unfortunate looking daughter and the annoying son and this Buffer guy. So he's trying to make them all be nice. Meanwhile, there's the bite neck-itis going around with the screechy music. So here's the creepy vampire watching the dad ride his carriage home, and he does like this slow motion yeehaw thing to make him look more like otherworldly. Not otherworldly, but supernatural. And he gets home, and what happens? Oh no, he's not alive anymore. You seen that in a movie before? Alright, this preacher totally has Liam Neeson vibes from like Schindler's List. Look at that. Same profile. So I didn't notice this the first time, but there's something I need you to notice. He's going to carry him in and lay him on the couch, but the couch has a wooden like handrail thing. Watch the back of his head and the wooden rail. Okay, right here. Did you see that? You can even hear it clunk. It's actually great shot composition right here. These guys, dead pa, little guy over there crying. Anyway, so this vampire guy is causing these troubles and making this family think it's the Buffer guy, and so it's causing a conflict that doesn't really need to be there. Okay, here comes my favorite moment after someone gets their demise in this movie. I love the music right there. It's like zooms in. It's like it's like two little like just like blood squirts just dropped on their neck. Okay, this part here is one of the most baffling parts in the whole movie. So you just had the funeral for the old man, Dr. Dad, from neck bite-itis, and everybody leaves, and it's a really cool shot. The camera follows everyone leaving, and then the camera comes back, and this guy's inside the gate of the mausoleum. This is the vampire guy, who we don't yet know what his deal is. So he creeps over to this coffin, and he's just like touching it kind of slowly and like looking at it, and there's really cool shadows and everything. So then he's got it open, and look at his face. He's just like, yeah. And it's just like, okay, cool, it's open, whatever. He's gonna do some vampire-y stuff. So he just looks like kind of crazily excited. So he starts dipping his head down in there, reaching in. It's like, oh, okay, he's gonna bite him some more or something. No, he's not biting him. He's just climbing in there. Okay. So he's just gonna climb in this coffin with this guy, and he had this like really like anticipatory, excited look on his face, and then he's just like, "Yep, I'm climbing in here." Just like, what is going on? So I listened to the audio commentary as well, which was excellent, by the way. And I was wondering, the guy in the commentary also said that this was a really weird part. So I guess in the script, he was going to turn into a bat, and then he was going to fly in there, and then you were just going to hear like all this heavy breathing and the bat flying around in there. And it's just like, what is going on with this movie? But apparently, a lot of the weirder parts and more like parts that make religious people look worse were cut out by the censor. So instead, we just get his creepy face, and he just climbs in the coffin. Also, the vampire in this movie is fine to just go out in the day. Look at these guys. So they're just hanging out. They're just chilling. But look at this fire. That's like an entire tree. Like the big part of a tree. It's just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna hang out here. Let's cut down an entire tree and just burn the whole thing all at once. Holy crap, you guys. So this guy shows up to tell the little hothead that their back fence is broken, and so he's immediately like, it was Buffer, and he's gonna go to town. And meanwhile, Johnny Cash is just wailing, "Don't take your guns to town, son. Don't take your guns to town." All right, so you got the little brat in here drinking and breaking glass and stuff. Sheriff comes in, and you think he might be like lecturing him, and the sheriff tells the bartender, he's like, "Hey, clean up all this broken glass." He's like, "This guy's had enough trouble." So the bartender's like, "What about me?" Then this guy says, really weird line. Listen to this thing.
That's the way it's gotta be. Bartender is like a free gal. She's bait for whoever's got a free buck, right?
What? Bartender's like a free gal, just bait for whoever's got a free buck? What in the world does that mean? What the heck, Sheriff? All right, so of course he gets all drunk, and he gets all drunk, and he's gonna go get himself shot like in Johnny Cash song. And this guy's actually doing a pretty good job of trying to avoid the fight, and he's not the one that broke the fence. He's not the one that killed the dad, and so he's trying to just avoid trouble. Like, you can tell, yeah, he wants to take over their land, but he's not the bad guy. And his whole family just thinks he's totally the murderer and breaking down their fence and everything. But I'm actually pretty sympathetic to him, because he's like a jerk and stuff, but he's super getting framed by this vampire. And here comes the mother of all insults right here.
No good son of a saloon gal.
There we go.
You sheep.
Nice double shot there. Kid totally missed. Good job, kid. Way to go get liquored up before you're going to do a kill, and then all of your faculties that you need to do an accurate pistol shot are gone. Way to go. Way to think that one through, you moron. But that scene is totally a plot device to get this next thing going that's going to get the vampire into her house. So she makes that sign to try and hire someone, basically to kill this guy, because she still thinks that's who did it. But yeah, I mean, it's too bad about her face. So the movie has yet to come out and say that he's a vampire, but they have the scary, crazy space music, and then him sneaking around in the shadows, and all the people getting neck bite-itis. But then things like this start to happen, so that we're start to suspect something's going on.
No, I wouldn't do that.
So the guy shot at him, and then he shot back and shot his gun. But the whole point of it is everyone saw that he shot him, and this guy's like, "What the heck? I totally just shot him." So we're starting to wonder, as the audience, like, I don't think this guy can get shot. So this movie has a lot of like tug of war pulling between like preacher and vampire stuff, and like worldliness with the property, and religion versus the undead. And this line is really good, because she's made her little revenge poster, and the vampire guy is on his way right now to accept the job.
All this raving about killing and revenge is as blasphemous as praying to the devil.
If the devil can stop some of this pain in me, then I'll even pray to him.
So Dan, the preacher right here, the Liam Neeson folk, he has this little cross button on his shirt, and the thing is like a character of its own. It has its own theme song, and it does all kinds of stuff. Check this out. Shines at him right in the face. With the theme song jamming out.
You're wearing, preacher. I've never seen one like it. It was given to me when I was ordained. I'm told the cross was carved from a thorn found at the site of the crucifixion. I'm deeply impressed.
So he's pretty proud of that pin, and every time you see it, it's got that little theme song. Actually, lots of times it shows crosses that has that little theme song. The theme song of that actually sounds a lot like the Brotherhood of the Cruciform, I think they're called, from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The guys that are trying to protect the Holy Grail, they have like their little theme song. Kind of sounds like that. I wonder if John Williams was inspired by that, which is kind of crazy because this is a super low budget movie. So then the preacher's like trying to tell her what to do, and he's like, don't hire this guy because he's bad because he kills people for money. And she's like, this guy needs to die. This bad guy needs to die and stuff. And they're getting in a fight, and then basically she lets him stay at her house. And so it's like, oh.
Good night, preacher.
Oh, cold. Good night, preacher, not good night, Dan.
Very good night.
Oh, preacher was bossy. He's like, I'm not going to ask you to turn him out. I'm going to tell you to. So he's kind of bossing her around. He's being a little bit of a little pushy bossy pants. Looks like he's about to get his vampire business on. I thought he was going to be professional, but it doesn't look like it. Also, when him and the preacher were kind of having like a face-off, it was very reminiscent of Van Helsing and Dracula having kind of a face-off, like, we disagree with each other, and one of us is religious and one of us is a vampire. I'm going to get you. So the scene goes on for a while he's working his way down to do the bite. And the music just like super crescendos and then has like the wildest, harshest, most abrupt cut in the whole movie. Look at this. It's like... So, yeah, whoever's running that the electric violin is doing the Marty McFly sliding across their back on the stage because it's getting crazy in there. The cemetery shot is awesome. Look at all those big old shadows and just how he's walking through there. I think that looks good. Also, he's walking right by a cross and it's not bugging him. It's definitely not a traditional vampire. All right, on this unfortunate face here, one thing I noticed is, look at her lipstick. I don't know if you can see that. It's like goes way up over her actual lips. And I asked my wife and she said that's a thing with makeup. So here's a line pretty much straight out of Dracula.
Here you sit like all the life is out of you. I think I'd better take you to Dorset. Have the doctor look you over.
Anyway, she's apparently super docile the morning after getting blood sucked. So preacher's creeping around Drago's stuff and totally finds a journal and finds out he's an actual vampire. And then he's going to decide to kill him. So we actually find out his origin story as a vampire, which is really interesting. His brother was totally cheating on his wife, and he stabs him. And then he feels so sad that he stabs himself.
I should never have left him alone.
So apparently, by killing himself, he started a curse and became the undead, a vampire. I don't know if I've ever seen any vampire movie or anything ever start up like that. Kind of interesting. So Dan gets her to fire him from the killing. And then she fires him from the killing. But then he's like, I need a job. And so he hires her just to be a normal hired person. And she's going to put him up in this cottage that's by the cemetery. So she's like, oh, does it bother you to be by dead people? And then the coolest line in the whole movie, like this guy's just full of one-liners. He's just oozing one-liners. But this line right here, and just takes the cake. Listen to this. This is the best.
Oh, the dead don't bother me. It's the living who give me trouble.
He looks right at the camera and he's just like, the living give me trouble. Anyway, that's an amazing line. Coughed on my spirit. All right, so then a bunch more stuff happens. Some more people die and some stuff happens. And preacher puts a gun belt on. But we've already seen Guns don't kill this guy. And look at this cool wide shot right there. Oh, but what is Preacher Dan doing? What's he doing? Switching out a bullet. Here we go. Oh, it's going down. So it's pretty shocking because up until this point, we've seen multiple people try and draw on this guy, and some of them actually get a quicker draw on him, and it just doesn't do anything. So we're like, oh man, Preacher Dan's dead. But see him switch out that bullet. Boop. And look at her. She shows up just in time. Boop. To see it happen. And then something really cool happened that just dropped my jaw. Check it out. Congratulations if you're still watching this, by the way. It's a long one. Check it out. What is going on? He's like see-through. He's disappearing. It's getting really grainy. And then... yeah. Full on does a Yoda. He just like disappears. It's really cool. He pulls the bullet out of the clothes and what? Oh, it's got that theme song. So he took the cross off of his little pin that has its own little theme song, stuck it on the front of a bullet, and then shot the vampire with it. And that did it. Pretty neat. All right, and the unfortunate looking lady and Van Helsing live happily ever after. And that movie was great. It was very low budget, but the actors all did a good job. They just full on went for it, and it was very hammy, and there was some shooting, and there was some people walking around in shadows, and some neck biting, and some little drips of blood, and some guns and bullets, and cowboy hats, and tucked in button-up shirts. So the commentary on the special features by film historian Tom Weaver was actually really good. I actually just ended up listening to it on my phone just while I was doing stuff, and he made me feel validated that screechy violin music was actually really irritating and took you out of the movie. So thank you, good owner, subscriber to my channel, for recommending this movie. I had an absolute blast. I did not know what to expect, and of course Kino Lorber always does a great job, so I didn't mind an excuse to find another Kino Lorber movie. So yeah, thanks. Appreciate the recommendation. That was lots of fun. Here's some random clips from the movie trailers on this disc as a bonus outro feature out of context. All right, I'm sorry. People on Fire is normally not funny, but when they do it like that, it's really funny. Here's another out of context clip.
You believe in ghosts?
The living dead live. Because what else would the living dead be if they're not living? What the heck?
Now there's a nice doggy. But before you pet it, take a good look. Might be a friend of Zoltan, Hound of Dracula.
All right, thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know what you think if you've seen this movie or what you thought. But figured I could load it with spoilers because this is an old movie and no one's going to watch it. So anyway, thank you so much and we'll see you next time. Bye.